Well, Byron, what we know now is that 5 people were involved in this crash, and 3 of them were children. A mother and her infant child both died on the scene. Winds from the storm caused this massive tree to fall on the home, trapping the couple inside. Their only escape, climbing out of a window. To give you an idea how big the flame was, the Hopkins house is back there, but the fire took place right here.
To see something like that.
During your press conference earlier today, City Engineer Dr. Charles Williams stated that the boil water notice could be lifted as soon as Thursday if water pressure at the plant continues to rise.
It really does. But her name will never be forgotten. She will still be living, and we still love her to this day and forever. So.
And on a positive note, so she graduated with a degree in fashion, so
right.
I'm pretty sure she was pretty fashion forward. Let's talk about her style a little.
It was very, I say, unique. She was different.
He calls himself the Travel Hooper. Mr. Jerry Harrigan has been to over a dozen places with his traveling backpack hoop, challenging people and making viral videos. And once you finish the wild weather exhibit, you can come to this wall and take a selfie to simulate how you would look in a hurricane.
Yeah.
And you met a reporter.
And I met a reporter, and he's the best reporter. And when I'm a broadcast journalist in 10 years, I owe it all to this guy.
And I'm gonna tell you like this, I did not coax that girl to say I was the best reporter ever. Those are all her own words. And now I'm told that I have my gloves, I have my sleeves, my apron, and now it's time to make some soap.
It's so fun to customize with customers, get creative with customers. A lot of times they have ideas that we've never thought of before.
Andy even provides themed products specific to the community, like my favorite, JSU, smells like Sonic Boom and Primetime. In Jackson, Anthony Howard, 12 News.
Yeah, well, it's great.
So if 2020 has filled you with rage, come to the Rage Room in Jackson and let some of it out. Well, after 2 surgeries and a blood transfusion, first grader Tylen Parker is now back home in Newton. His mom says he maintained a positive attitude during this tragic incident. Now she's fighting to make sure this doesn't happen to another child at Newton Public Schools.
It's pretty dangerous there.
Following last week's school shooting, Antoinette Evans has decided to withdraw both of her children from Newton Elementary School.
If this is not the first incident where a child has brought a gun to school, this is actually the 3rd, but it's the first one someone was shot. You know, it might be a 4th if you don't, do something.
Evans feels the school could have done more to prevent this tragedy.
When the first incident happened, metal detectors should have been placed inside the school. You enforce clear backpacks, but kids still get guns into the school.
Newton Police Department labeled the incident as an accidental shooting. However, Evans has her doubts after hearing her son's side of the story.
He kept on playing with it and he shot. And I went to go tell the teacher and he was the tenant. He was shooting a bird like he was duck hunting and he shot me. He didn't mean to do it. The gun. He didn't know the gun was cocked.
Tylen nor his mother feel any resentment toward the people responsible, but Evans would like a response from the mother of the shooter.
I wish that she would have reached out to me and just apologized. Apology would go a long way. He's not mad with the little boy. He's not mad at all. He told me he'd still be his friend.
6-year-old Tylen will be in a wheelchair for the next 12 weeks and then rehabilitation to learn how to walk again. Now, more surgeries are in Tylen's future as he continues to grow taller. When he arrived home, he was greeted by a parade for members of the community. There is still no word on any charges being filed at this time. And if you're interested in contributing to Tylen's recovery, you can go to our website at WJTV.com for more information. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Anthony.
Well, it's been a long and troubling day for the family of Shanetta Andrews. The family has spent the entire day looking for any clues to help them find their missing loved one. Andrews' aunt says today feels like a terrible case of deja vu, being that Shanetta Andrews' twin sister was abducted and killed by her ex-husband in 2013.
I just want her to come home.
Shanetta Andrews' 19-year-old daughter was present at the time her mother was forcibly taken from their home, moments after her younger siblings left for school.
About 5 minutes after they left for school, that's when we heard him
like barging in through the back door. And so me and my mother ran in my room, and so we were just fighting him or whatever. And that's when he started pointing the gun at my baby, pointing the gun at me, saying that he'll blow our head off.
At this point, the women feared for their lives and attempted to call the police. According to Greer, that's when Moore threatened to kill her mother.
Then when I threw the phone at him, and he was trying to snatch on my mama and tell her, come on with me so you can come and drop these charges.
The missing mother pressed charges against Charles Moore after he attacked her in the prior weeks.
He went to press charges because he had broken her ribs and bruised her up real bad, her body and stuff. So that's why she couldn't fight. That's why I'm trying to fight for her.
Andrews' daughter suffered minor injuries during a violent exchange. Once Moore left with Andrews, the daughter immediately began the search for her mother.
Just trying to get in contact with somebody to help see could they track my phone or whatever. And finally, like I say, 30 minutes later, that went on. I found the ping location in West Mississippi.
The family traveled to the location and Andrews' son found the phone, thrown into a wooded area 30 minutes from where the mother was abducted. The family also discovered that Andrews was taken to a local gas station to withdraw money from an ATM, and that's the last time she'd been seen.
It's really hard because it's the same thing happened to my other sister 6 years ago. I'm talking about the same exact situation. So, you know, it's pretty hard by it happening to my other twin the same exact way.
Shanetta Andrews' twin sister, Coretta Andrews, was kidnapped and shot to death by her ex-husband. The family is praying for a different outcome and for Andrews to safely return home. And the family told me Charles Moore had a history of committing violence against women. Law enforcement says he was last seen in an older model GMC Jimmy truck with chrome rims. Anyone who knows anything that could lead to finding the whereabouts of Shanetta Andrews and Charles Moore are encouraged to contact the Holmes County Sheriff's Department. For decades, Mississippi has been depicted in period pieces, constantly shining a spotlight on its racist past. Local filmmakers say it's time to reintroduce Mississippi for what it is today.
Mississippi is always looked at in a time period that we are currently not in. And although those stories are compelling and inspirational, they just don't reflect what and who Mississippi really is.
I've struggled with this a lot because even though some of the films that we're most famous for were films that actually helped us in a sense, but now I think it hurts us because what it has done is it has kind of fed into this stigma that we're racist or that we're backwoods or that we're uneducated.
As Mississippians, they say viewing these depictions can be emotionally challenging, some even being stereotyped just for being from the Magnolia State.
You know, I get it all of the time. People like, oh, you're from Mississippi. And it's like, yes, I'm from Mississippi because I guess it goes back to where they expect people to be based on what they've been seeing. You know, people barefoot, pregnant, and just kind of, you know, we just doing what we do.
No matter where I've traveled in the world, people will ask me, well, how is Mississippi? And they'll think we're stuck in A Time to Kill, or they'll think we're stuck in Mississippi Burning. Nothing factual, but just what has helped shape their perception.
Filmmakers say now is the time to modernize the stories being filmed in Mississippi as the state continues to become more progressive.
And I don't see a lot of films out that depict Mississippi in the way that it should be depicted. They're mostly time period pieces. They don't reflect anything that we're doing. They doesn't reflect anything that's modern or the things that have been innovative about this state. So we have to start doing a better job of telling our own narrative.
Numerous mainstream films are recorded here in the state, but the location is often portrayed as if it is somewhere else.
So funny because I was talking to another well-known producer in the industry, and so when he was watching me and knew that I was shooting a lot of stuff, he said, Jamie, you stumbled up on a hidden gem. He said, why did I not know about Mississippi? I said, aha, like Eddie Murphy in Coming to America. I said, well, now you do.
The filmmakers hope that Mississippi gets the accurate representation it deserves now that the state has removed the Confederate battle emblem from the state flag.
But I want to show people who are well-educated, people who are thriving, successful, independent business owners, people who, when a child look up and turns the television on, they can say that person is from Mississippi just like me and not feel like, oh, if I'm from Mississippi, I don't see anyone that reflects me or reflects where I could be. So that's why I want to tell stories that will reflect a new Mississippi.
Mel, the lawsuit accuses the VA hospital of violating policy. 50 people have signed a petition to prevent the closure. Veterans tell me this decision could put their lives in jeopardy.
I remain at the VA is the best opportunity I have to continue my life existence.
Veteran Clarence Hopkins has been receiving dialysis treatment at the VA for roughly a decade.
They made us aware that they were going to close this dialysis unit through a letter form in March of 2021.
The letter stated that all patients receiving dialysis treatment at the Veterans Medical Center would be transitioned to a community dialysis center by May 15th, a 60-day notice.
We spend 3 days a week receiving dialysis. So really, a 60-day notice is really about 30 days because, you know, of the fact that we're receiving dialysis 3 days a week. So, and that's one of the reasons why this transition should be postponed.
The letter also states that someone will assist each patient personally with the transition of care. However, the veterans I talk with say that's not the case.
They themselves don't know what to do. Right now, they don't even have a contract with these facilities. But yet they want us to go to these facilities and establish a contract.
Nobody ever came to us and talked to us at all. The first time I heard from my doctor, April the 9th, he stated to me that, Mr. Hopkins, you need to find an outside facility to take your dialysis in. So my response to him was, are you all gonna put us out? He said, well, the unit is gonna be closed on May 15th.
According to the lawsuit, that's a violation of the VA's own guidelines. The VA handbook states that local VA resources for dialysis treatment should be considered first. I reached out to the hospital for an in-person interview. Officials there declined, but sent me a statement saying the decision was made due to an aging infrastructure and the requirement to provide high-quality care to their patients.
For some reason, they want it closed. They just want it closed. The reason why they're saying, the reason they're using to close it is not true.
And Benny Thompson wants answers. Last year, his office sent a letter to Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, sorry about that, requesting bill language to support the funding for outpatient dialysis center care. And this past March, his office reached out to the VA secretary expressing concern about the dialysis unit closure and requesting a copy of the directive. Neither request has been honored at this time. Melanie, Byron, back to you.
All right, thank you, Anthony.